When the Spirit of the Lord moves upon my heart, I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord moves upon my heart, I will dance like David danced. I will dance, I will dance, I will dance like David danced. I will dance, I will dance, I will dance like David danced. Hello and welcome to Wednesday's Word. My name is Marcia, and today I'm going to be talking to you about that crazy Christian. I want to be that crazy Christian. Now, I know that sounds weird, and it really does kind of sound crazy, but let me explain. I want to be that Christian that can have a conversation with God anywhere. I want to be that Christian that can sing and praise and dance before the Lord no matter where I am, no matter what's going on around me, no matter what the circumstances are that are pressing down on me. I want to be that crazy Christian. Now, my experience, crazy Christians are people who are willing to give freely, willing to give whether it makes sense to everybody else around them or not, willing to give whether it hurts their pocketbook or not, willing to give whether it's something that is sentimental or meaningful to them or not. They're willing to give freely. A crazy Christian is somebody who's willing to love fully, who's willing to love those that hurt them, who's willing to love those that have lied to them or said mean things about them, who's willing to love whether they're socially acceptable or not, and who's willing to love whether they're loved back or not. I want to be that crazy Christian. To me, a crazy Christian is somebody who is willing to appear foolish to others, whether it be in their actions, in their words, or in their beliefs. I want to be that crazy Christian. David was a crazy Christian. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that'll be saying, David can't be a Christian. He was before Christ. You're right, but you're wrong, because being a Christian means being more like Christ, more like the God we serve. And David was a man after God's own heart. Therefore, David was a crazy Christian. And we're going to read from 2 Samuel chapter 6, starting at verse 14, just what kind of crazy Christian David really was. It says, "Then David danced before the Lord with all his might, and David was wearing a linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet. Now as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and whirling before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart. So they brought the ark of the Lord and set it in its place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had erected for it. Then David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And when David had finished offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts. Then he distributed among all the people, among the whole multitude of Israel, both the women and the men, to everyone a loaf of bread, a piece of meat, and a cake of raisins. So all the people departed, everyone to his own house. Then David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, "How glorious was the king of Israel today, uncovering himself today in the eyes of the maids of his servants, as one of the base fellows shamelessly uncovers himself." So David said to Michal, "It was before the Lord, who chose me instead of your father and all of his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore, I will play music before the Lord, and I will be even more undignified than this. I will be humble in my own sight. But as for the maidservants of whom you have spoken, by them I will be held in honor." Notice what David said after Michal scolded him. He said, I will play music before the Lord, and I will be even more undignified than this. I will humble myself in my own sight. How many of us are willing to humble ourselves in our own sight? By worrying about what others thought, Michal missed the whole point. She thought she was being wise in correcting David. But in Proverbs chapter 26, verse 12, it says, "Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him." I guess that means that we need to rethink what we think of as wise. I want to be that crazy Christian. Like David, I want to be willing to shed my insecurities. I want to be willing to shed my pride. I want to be willing to shed my fears. And I want to be willing to shed my preconceived notions and be willing to do that which God has called for me to do. To be willing to appear foolish in the eyes of those around me in order to bring honor to the Lord. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, starting in verse 25, it says, "Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For you see your calling, brethren, that many wise according to the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble, are called. But God has chosen the foolish things of the world to put to shame the wise. And God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the things which are mighty. And the base things of the world and the things which are despised, God has chosen, and the things which are not, to bring to nothing the things that are, that no flesh may glory in his presence. But of him you are in Christ, who became for us wisdom from God, and righteousness, and sanctification, and redemption. That as it is written, he who glories, let him glory in the Lord." I want to be that crazy Christian who's willing to glory in the Lord, no matter what the cost. I hope and I pray that you're willing to join me in this journey of being that crazy Christian. May God bless you. May he keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you. Have a blessed week. Thank you for joining us. I will praise